tutorial on the penguin character. Okay, so I've started with step 1. I've created an artboard of 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters. As you can see, if I open up my artboard tool, 200 by 200 on top here. So the first thing that I need to do is create an oval shape. Okay, so I've used this ellipse tool. Now I'm giving it a colour just so that I can see what I'm working with, and I have aligned it to the centre, so make sure you've got a line to artboard on and a line to centre. Okay, I need to get my white arrow, direct selection tool, and drag the bottom anchor point upwards. Okay, so double click on it and drag it upwards. Now I want to make sure that I'm going in a straight line. So in order to do that, I hold my shift key, and that will ensure that I'm going straight up. Okay, so I have something more like that. I've got my character here beside me so that I can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to create another shape here in a different colour, just so that I can see what I'm doing. It's easier sometimes to put a different colour on it. Okay, and what I want to do here is I want to create this intersection shape here. So this is what you're trying to make, this intersection shape here. Okay, so in order to do that, I need to make a copy of the background shape, because if I don't do that, the next step will delete the background and I'll have nothing left. So Control C, Control F. Okay, so that means, as you can see, I have two shapes. So undo. Okay, so I select one shape. I don't click and drag, because if I click and drag, I'll select both shapes. So I just click once, and I click once holding the shift key. So now I have these two objects selected. And then I go to the third option on my Pathfinder panel. So if you can't find your Pathfinder panel, go to Window and Pathfinder, and I go to Intersect. So now I'm just left with the shape inside. So the most important thing is that you make sure that you make a copy of this background oval, the yellow oval, because if you don't, you're going to be just left with the intersection, and this is going to be gone. So now, see, I've only got one of those shapes left. Okay. Okay, so we're on to step 4. Okay, so we're going to create a little oval that might act as a wing. So I'm going to give this a different colour again. So I'm just going to use these different colours that it just might make it easier to recognise. Okay, get my black arrow and I'm going to slightly rotate it. Okay. Alright, so you're left with something like that. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing again. Okay, so we're going to make a copy of the body. Control C and paste in front is Control F, and then select one body and second now. Okay, so I need to select the body and I need to select the little wing, and this time I'm going to go minus back. So what that means is whatever is behind, so you can see that this green shape is in front, this is behind, so whatever is behind will delete and you'll be left with just the wing. Okay, so there are kind of two little options for the Pathfinder panel. Now you're going to make a copy of this, so drag the Alt key, right click, transform, reflect. Turn on your preview, and that looks okay to me. If you go horizontal, you'll be left with something like that, so vertical works, and press OK. Okay, make sure you pause this tutorial as you're going along on each step. Okay, so we've got our wings and we've got the belly. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're on to step 6, and we're going to create the three little kind of claws. Okay, so we're going to click and drag like so. Okay, I'm going to zoom right in, and I'm going to make a copy of this by selecting the Alt key, or dragging with the Alt key. Okay, and I'm just going to do something like so. So hover from the corners like that. Okay, going to give this a different colour. I'm just going to give everything a different colour so that it makes it a little bit easier. I might even, if I look at my picture, it's more like that, I think. Okay, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to unite. So I go to the Pathfinder panel, and the first option you can see is unite. So you're left with something like that. Okay, and I'm going to ever so slightly rotate it. So when I put it here, and I'm going to send it to the back, right click, arrange, send to back. Okay, so probably comes in a little bit here. Okay, and I'm going to make a copy with the Alt key, and then transform and reflect. Okay, okay. So I want to make sure that those are, I'm going to go to align to selection here. I want to make sure these two are aligned kind of like this. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to group them and align them to the center of the artboard. Okay. And actually, as I look at them here, I think they're a bit close together. So right click and ungroup. Just moving them out roughly as far as I think they should go. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make them look a bit more, you could flatten them a little bit like that, like the way they are in the picture. That might be a bit better. Okay, so we're on to step 6, which is the eyes. Okay, so it says create an eye using 3 differently sized circles. Offset the pupil to give the penguin a cute dazed look. Okay, copy and paste and flip. Okay, so what we're doing here is similar to the hairy monster that we did a few weeks ago. You're going to make a circle. You're going to object, path, offset path, right? Turn on your preview so you can see. So 3 looks a bit big for me at the minute. So if I go to 1, so you can see what's happening here. Okay, so that's fine for the inside. Okay, and then object, path, offset path, and we'll go 3. Okay, now I still might need to edit this a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to make this one I think I'm going to make the bigger, this one, sorry, excuse me. Select this and make it bigger, I think, yeah. And this one to make it bigger, sorry. Make it a little bit bigger, yeah. And then this one like so. So I think that's what you're left with. Okay, so the colours obviously aren't great at the minute, so I'm going to just make them somewhat similar to how they might be. So white, we will be doing a gradient in a few moments. And obviously you have a stroke on, and you wouldn't have a stroke on the real thing. So I'm just going to make it something like that, okay? Now I want to select these so I can make a copy. So you could probably lock your background, or else click and drag and then hold shift and click that to deselect. Okay, but it might be easier to lock. So Control 2 or else object and lock. Okay, so I'm going to Control G to group, or right click and group, and I'm going to make a copy. So again, hold the Alt key, right click, transform, reflect. So I've got something like that. Okay, and again, group again and center on the whole thing. And if we look at the position, I think it looks pretty okay. Okay, so I'm going pretty fast, but I expect that you'll be able to pause this as you're going along. So the next thing we're doing is the nose. Okay, so center the nose. Okay, if I look at the position, it's slightly up here. I'm just going to give it an orange colour for the moment, but we will be working a bit on getting the colour right. Okay, you're going to get your white arrow, okay, and click on the bottom point here. Okay, what we want to do is we want to point it out. So we're just going to drag these handles inwards a little bit so we can point it. So it looks more like that. Okay. Okay. So we've got the kind of main elements of the penguin here. The next thing is to apply the colour. Okay, so we want to make the penguin a kind of a grey to black gradient. So I'm going to object unlock all because I want to unlock the body.